Hi, I'm Remy, and welcome to the third episode of the Knowledge Hoard, an informative hamster care podcast. Today's episode is about bedding, also known as substrate. Bedding is, quite literally, the base of your hamster's enclosure, where they eat, sleep, exercise, and live. While it may seem simple to go on Amazon or to a pet store and grab the cheapest bag, you'll find that there are many options. There are ones in cool colors, ones that smell like lavender, and ones that supposedly prevent animal odor. However, bedding is quite a deep topic with many types that can be unsafe for your little furry friend. In this podcast, we will look at some of the most common beddings, paper, aspen, and hemp, as well as unsafe beddings, bedding depth, and the long-time debate on pine bedding. First, let's note what is necessary for a substrate to be safe and comfortable for hamsters. A decent substrate must 1. Not be too dusty or otherwise harmful to their health. 2. Able to support burrowing. 3. Absorb any potential waste or water spills. And 4. Not be too hard to buy or find, especially in large enough quantities. Now let's look at some beddings to avoid and be careful around. Number 1. Scented beddings. While they may seem nice to us, hamsters are smaller with much more sensitive noses, and they live on bedding almost 24/7. Scented substrates are prone to causing URIs, or upper respiratory infections, which require a vet visit and antibiotics. Number 2. Be cautious with odor control beddings. Sometimes these beddings contain baking soda, a commonly used rodent repellent, and harmful, or deadly, when ingested. In general, hamsters don't give off a very pungent smell. Unless you have a scent-marking male, or a female in heat, you can expect your hamster to create little to no odor with proper care. Number 3. Corncob bedding. Corncob molds extremely easily, meaning even a little bit of mist urine could cause quite a bit of mold. Corncob can be safely used in small containers for short, observed periods of time, but should never be left in the cage 24/7. As a general reminder, sand, coconut fibers, eco-earth, hay, or soil should not be the primary substrate. Due to not fitting the requirements we noted earlier, they should always be only in portions of the enclosure. Number 4. Softwood shavings. There's a lot of stigma surrounding softwood shavings, however, they're not all unsafe. All wood contains phenols. In high concentrations, they can be respiratory irritants. Spruce, and in smaller quantities, fir, are two types of softwood shavings that can be used safely in a hamster's cage due to their lower phenol content. Spruce is very comparable to aspen in this regard. On the other hand, especially in the US, pine is a controversial topic that we will consider separately towards the end of this episode. Now, let's consider some of the most accessible beddings you can find. Paper is one of the most common small animal beddings found in most countries. Popular brands are Carefresh, KT, Criticare, Small Pet Select, and All Living Things. Some of these brands produce products that seem more like shreds of tissues, like the same you would use to blow out your nose, while others are more like softer pieces of cardboard. Paper substrate tends to be especially useful for holding up burrows and absorbing urine, but can sometimes be on the pricier side. The bedding can come in white, brown, and various colors such as blue, pink, and green. Aspen is another common bedding choice. It's a wood bedding that comes in shavings, flakes, or chips. Although there is a risk of sharp edges, wood dust, twigs, and debris, a higher quality brand, such as KT or Small Pet Select, lowers the risk of aspen bedding. Since aspen isn't the best for holding up burrows, many owners suggest mixing it with paper bedding and/or hay. Hemp bedding is another common type, though it's more seen in countries besides the United States. It looks a bit like aspen, though it has many different properties. Generally, it's considered safe and beneficial for burrowing. A widespread brand of hemp bedding is Auboise, spelled AUBIOSE. Now, it's time to talk about pine bedding and kiln-dried pine bedding, as promised previously. This is a widely debated topic, so make sure you do your own research. Don't take everything at face value because everyone will say something different. We will add research links in the description, but we strongly encourage doing research and making your own informed choice for your pets. Pine and other softwoods are safe when in solid pieces, but in shreds like bedding, every bit of surface area has exposed phenols, which can cause your hamster to have an upper respiratory infection. However, pine can be kiln-dried, which claims to remove most, if not all, of the phenols, making it a safe option. Despite these claims, many people argue that the ovens don't get nearly hot enough, meaning that there is still a dangerous amount of phenols. To help you form your own opinion, we will add links about this subject in the description. Please research before choosing whether to use a product. If you decide not to use kiln-dried pine, Aspen Bedding can be a great alternative with many of the same benefits and often cheaper. Now that we've discussed types of bedding, we need to talk about the depth of bedding. Many bags of bedding recommend about 1 to 3 inches, but just think, can an animal anywhere from 2 to 7 inches in length comfortably create multiple burrows and homes in 3 inches of bedding? No, definitely not. We recommend no less than 6 inches, but we suggest to aim for 10 or more so your hamster can create quality burrows. If possible, try and have this amount of bedding throughout the whole cage. In the wild, hamsters burrow for a few main reasons: to hoard food, to make dens, and safety. In captivity, hamsters should have access to the same principles provided by good quality, deep bedding within their enclosure. In conclusion, don't use beddings with unsafe additives or scents. Research when choosing a type of bedding, and always give your hamster an adequate amount of bedding. Remember to be cautious when debating whether or not to use a controversial product, and check out the links we listed in the description for a better understanding of them. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Knowledge Hoard. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please fill out the Google form in the description. We'd love to hear your feedback.